The Volquest 2-Minute Drill is brought to you by Craven Wings.
Good Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to the Craven Wings 2-Minute Drill. Don't forget Wingding Wednesday coming up tomorrow at those locations that we've been telling you about for a long time. So check out our friends at Craven Wings. I am Brent Hubbs with Eric Kane. Got a chance to hear from a couple of Tennessee assistant coaches, a quartet of Tennessee football players today. Let's start with the assistant coaches. We've talked about it. Brian Jean-Marie likes kind of the growth and the development of where his linebackers are right now.
Yeah, and he should. I mean, I think Juwan Mitchell, playing just a tiny bit last year, going through some things on the field, injury-related off the field, coming back, and just playing football. And you're seeing more of what you saw of the guy from Texas kind of implementing what he does here at Tennessee. And Aaron Beasley, just reps. He's looked so good, and Jeremy Banks playing under control. I said it, I think, on the Rocky Top Rewind or maybe the post podcast or whatever, but I think this group in the middle layer, they're not great, but they might be one of the more underrated units on this team. They've just gotten better.
Yeah, and they've been very consistent.
Yeah.
You know, that they play consistently all the way through. Speaking of consistency, feels like Dylan Sampson's kind of found a little bit of that consistency, and it sounds like we're going to see a good bit of Dylan Sampson the rest of the way here based on Jerry Mack's conversations.
I think we should. And, I mean, they've been high on Dylan Sampson, the whole way. Even after LSU, whenever he let Hendon Hooker get rocked there a little bit, they said they had confidence in him, that they want to play him some more. And you saw that last week. I think he adds a little bit different layer. He's got that burst, can get to the second, the third layers, make some things happen. And Small and Wright are still going to play an awful lot, but why not see Sampson, especially in these last two games to where you'll probably most likely be in position to afford that.
Yep, and for Tennessee, the players, Cooper Mays visiting with the media today. This offensive line has given up too many sacks the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They'll tell you that. They're not very pleased with that. They have high expectations and high goals. They were named semifinalists for the Joe Moore Award for the best offensive lineman as a group. That's a pretty personal deal for this offensive line.
Yeah, you watched the video we posted up on the front page, Volquest.com, and Cooper Mays, you can sense the seriousness in his voice. He's saying, no, we're very aware of what that is, what that award means. Offensive linemen, we don't get stats. We don't have highlights. This is kind of what we play for. We try to be the best offensive line in the country every single week. And he said, Hendon Hooker's the most important part of our football team. We can't let guys be hitting him as much as they have here lately, but that's their goal. They've been aware. They said they had the poster in their meeting room. That's something that they talked about in the offseason and something that they're close to attaining this year towards the end.
Yeah, obviously they've played well. They've got an opportunity down the stretch here, too. When you look at South Carolina, they gave up a ton of yards rushing to Florida last week. They'll play better. South Carolina's got some pride. They'll play better. But there is an opportunity, I think, for Tennessee to have a big offensive day, starting with those guys in the trenches, particularly in the run game.
Oh, I think so, too. I mean, is Tennessee going to rush for 374 yards like Florida did? I'm not expecting that. I would have never in a million years thought Florida would do that. Not saying Florida's bad. It's just, that number's just, that just doesn't happen. But can Tennessee get over 150 yards, get close to 200 yards? Absolutely. Can you have a great day running the football and, kind of like what they did against Missouri? One guy gets close to 100 or goes slightly over. Two other guys get close to 50. Hendon Hooker's involved in the run game. I envision that happening in South Carolina. And again, it all starts up front. I think Darnell Wright's coming over with that kick-out block. I think Spraggins, Mays, and Carvin playing better in the interior. It's a good running football team.
Well, and again, they've got a lot of pride, and they're not elated with the way that they have played the last 2 weeks. So they've got plenty to go, plenty to work for. Speaking of plenty on this team, last thing we'll wrap it up here that I think has not been talked about a whole lot is the continued development of this team. When you look at some of the young players via special teams, just opportunities like Dylan Sampson, one of the challenges for coaches is, are you getting better throughout the year? Here's Tennessee in the middle of a playoff run, potentially, but it's still, when you look at some individual parts on this team, you're really starting to see some growth and development, and it starts with Mike Eckler's unit, right?
No, yeah, and that's where guys like Tamari McDonald, that's where guys like Danico Slaughter, they play. If you're on every single special teams unit, Brent, you're playing about 30 snaps a game, and in this offense, maybe close to 40 because you're scoring so much. You're getting reps and learning how to break down in space and take the proper angles. That's what Tamari McDonald was saying earlier. So, yeah, it starts on special teams, then it translates over to offense or defense. And I continue to look back, and I know the Ham was forced a little bit with injuries, but you have two guys that playing cornerback right now who have locked down those spots all points in the last 2 weeks that we would have never envisioned in fall camp having a role in this team at that position. So the development there at linebacker, at wide receiver with Ramel Keaton and some others, it's been good. And that's where you're being coached well. And it can also, help you set up for the future and next year as well.
Well, and it's also keeping a bunch of guys engaged down the stretch of this season as well, which Tennessee may need depending on what your injury situation looks like and all those things as well. So plenty of good things going on campus despite the rain and the cold out here as Tennessee gets ready for South Carolina on Saturday night. For the Volquest 2-minute drill, I'm Brent Hubbs. He's Eric Kane.
When you're craving wings, it's got to be Craven Wings. Online at cravenwings.com.